Ascension is the first DLC for Black Ops 1, and it was the first attempt at a large-scale zombies map, and also added the first main Easter egg, which is a character-defining trait of zombies as a whole today. Pretty much every map that came after Ascension had an Easter egg, excluding survival maps or remasters, and this was a change that is, in my opinion, desperately needed. Sure, the pure gameplay of Call of Duty Zombies is why we all love it, but sometimes you do need something different to do, something that doesn't feel like there is no end, no way to complete the map, and without Easter eggs, Call of Duty Zombies would never have been as big as it is today. Well, maybe not in recent years, but you get my point. It was at its peak. It definitely would have never hit that peak. One thing I always loved about Call of Duty Zombies as a whole is just how diverse its fans can be, with something as simple as what makes a good map. You got your high round players, your Easter egg players, your speedrunners, your storyline players, your casual players, and the custom map makers. Call of Duty Zombies is also just one of the only games I've ever played where you need to pull up a YouTube guide to complete a main quest, and Ascension was the start of it all. The amount of innovation on Ascension that was introduced is unmatched by anything that came before it, even Derice, and really just all of Black Ops 1 was pretty much innovative for Call of Duty Zombies. We have two new perks, PhD allowing players to finally be immune to explosives, making the ray gun much more viable, and giving us access to the Mustang and Sally, which would not have been nowhere near as iconic and useful if it wasn't for PhD opening up the floor or making explosives a great option. You can also dolphin dive off anywhere on the map, no matter how high you are, and you won't take any fall damage, as well as making an explosion when you hit the ground, which is useful for at least the first 20 rounds. And then there's the stamina perk that not only has multiple flavors, but also allows you to sprint faster and longer, which is so useful, especially when the older game sprint system feels exactly the same as a grandma who's addicted to cigarettes. Also, because Ascension is just so big compared to the other maps, this is like the perfect perk to use to get around faster, and I can't think of a more important map to have stamina up on. Double tap as a machine was removed though from the map, which is a shame because, you know, I love double tap, but Black Ops 1 stamina up and PhD are just both way better options. And you can still get double tap if you want from a new power-up that gives you a random perk, which is obtained at the end of a monkey round, which are the new boss zombies. Monkeys on Ascension are just annoying. Sure, there are some benefits to them, like, you know, being able to get more than 4 perks, but realistically, you just never will, especially on solo. The monkeys are also really small and have a lot of health and just can be tedious to kill. I think the worst part of the monkeys is that in a 4-player game, you might have a good chance of defending your perks, but in solo, it's just impossible, which shouldn't be a big deal. Like, so what? If I can't get all perks in solo, you know, whatever. Like, I don't have to get all of the perks. It'd be nice, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not really like I need them. The real problem for me when it comes to the monkeys is they take your perks, which is almost unavoidable on solo, so it doesn't feel like a challenge at all. Instead, it just feels like an inconvenience that, you know, you buy a perk, and every single monkey round, you have to run around the map rebuying all those perks again and again and again. This is one thing I really just don't like about this map, because I know every 5 rounds I'm gonna have to deal with running around the map and buying my perks back, which is kind of a reason I avoid playing this map sometimes when I'm going strictly for survival, because it does affect it a little bit for me. I honestly wish they just kept monkeys the same on co-op, but for solo could have worked a little different. Maybe on solo they wouldn't actually take your perks, or would only attack 1 or 2 machines, or maybe they could still take your perks, but if you kill the monkeys, they will drop the perks they stole from you, and you can recollect them the same way you would after killing the Pentagon Thief. But let's talk about some good additions, like the Gersh device, one of the best equipments in zombies, Matryoshka dolls, which are fun, and the sickle, which is the only time we've gotten an alternate Bowie knife, and while it does the same amount of damage, it does look really cool, and did help Ascension become more iconic. I also really do like the black and white filter that when you first spawn in, it again adds some flair to this map, making it more iconic. I have to say though, while it is a cool feature, this should have definitely been saved for Call of the Dead. Listen, I'm sure there's a lore reason for why the map is black and white, but I don't care. This would fit 10 times better on Call of the Dead because George Romero is literally on the map. For those who don't know, George Romero is basically the father of zombies and made zombies movies like Night of the Living Dead, which again is the name of Nocturne and Toten, the first zombies map. It's clear this mode has been taking inspiration from George Romero from the beginning. One of the most iconic parts of that film is just, you know, that it's in black and white. Would this not have been the perfect time to use the black and white filter? Just in the beginning, just like Ascension, we turn the power, then it goes away, but it still would have been cool. This isn't even an unheard of thing to do as a tribute either, like the Walking Dead comics. If you guys are at all familiar with them, they made all their comics in black and white to give tribute to Night of the Living Dead. Walking Dead even has the same font as Night of the Living Dead. It was right there, and unfortunately they did not do it, which I really do hate to see. Maybe it's because they thought of the idea and then they already put in Ascension and they didn't want to do it for Call of the Dead 2. I'm not really sure why, but I think that would have been a very cool change, especially for anybody who, you know, would have noticed that little Easter egg, especially when, you know, George is literally the main focus of the map. Like, he's always there, he's on the cover, he's always following you, you always have to worry about him. So, you know, I thought it would be cool. But anyways, enough about Call of the Dead. We're here to talk about Ascension, which I have not mentioned yet, but Ascension is huge. This was the first time where Treyarch decided to expand a map to its limits, being way bigger than anything that came before it, and paved the way for more maps after it to follow this idea. Let's just look how big it is. First of all, you have Spawn, which is one of the best spawn rooms ever because it's pretty spacious and you can use the swinging dildo to kill zombies infinitely. There's the PhD lander area that is completely open and has a lander to escape back to spawn and quick revive if you make a mistake. There's the main building with Jug and Power, which also connects up to Speed Cola, Mule Kick, the Sickle, and another lander. Then there is the Pack-a-Punch area where the rocket launches from, which I also love the fact that you can blow up the rocket. And finally, there is the Stamina Up area, which I have to admit is probably the most pointless area on the map. I mean, you almost never go back to that stamina area once you get the lander or buy stamina up. It's probably the only area I'm not a big fan of on this map, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. I just never really come here, but at least I guess it is used in the Easter egg multiple times. Ascension is twice the size of any map that came before it, which was such an important change because you finally have room for a 4-player lobby. You can all be in a different area and have your own trains, basically all playing solo with other people in the game. I could see though how some people might not like this change, as every zombies map before it involved working together in some ways with your teammates. I suppose some older maps could make enough space, especially like Kino or maybe Derice, especially if you really try, but Ascension, there is no doubt if you can. You just know there's enough space because this map is big. Ascension was really the switch in a lot of ways to a new era of zombies, going from small maps to the much bigger maps. And for a first attempt on a map this large, I think that Treyarch did an excellent job. Now, having a map this large requires having a lot of content to fit inside of it, because a map with a lot of space without enough content to fill up the map is just pointless space. It's making a map big just for the sake of being big and not for any actual good in-game reason. Looking at you, Black Ops 6, like Terminus with the water. In terms of weapons, there is the Matryoshka dolls, Gersh devices, and Sickle, which are all good, but for wonder weapons, we have the Ray Gun and Thunder Gun again, which I do feel is a little lazy considering we just had it on Kino, and when you think about the Thunder Gun, you just think of Kino to Tone anyways. You don't think about Dissension. Dissension? Wait a minute. Whoa. I think we could have definitely swapped the Winter's Howl and Thunder Gun on this map, considering a Thunder Gun on 5 would be perfect because of how tight that map is, and the Winter's Howl wouldn't be as bad if you could have more space, like on Ascension. There's also the fact that the Winter's Howl is cold, and this map takes place in Russia, which could also been a cool little hint at the next map being Call of the Dead. Ascension also takes place at the same time as 5, so Ascension getting the Winter's Howl and 5 getting the Thunder Gun and Pentagon Thief would be great for both sides. Although they would probably need to make the glowing orb have less HP, because, you know, Winter's Howl doesn't do a lot of damage. Again, this map introduced Stamina Up and PhD as perk machines, which, while I said earlier I was surprised they added 2 perks, it just makes sense because this map is so much bigger than anything they did before, so they needed something else to fill in this map more. However, this does not explain why Double Tap's not here. Again, I actually have no idea why Double Tap's not here. I literally, it doesn't make any sense to me, I'm not gonna lie. Ascension takes place in an abandoned Soviet cosmodrome, and that I guess was sending monkeys to space, and also had Cosmic Silverback imprisoned at one point, meaning Dead Ops is somewhat canon. Also crazy to me that we never got a Cosmic Silverback boss fight in Zombies. With Ascension also taking place at the same time as 5, it just adds more to the overall atmosphere of this map. Or what about the Lunar Landers, which lift you up above the map and let you look down at where you just were minutes before? See, to me, this is when fast travel is done best in Zombies, when during your fast travel you get to fly by the entire map much faster than you normally would. I prefer the Lunar Landers so much more over teleporters because they provide a way to escape in a fun new way instead of just teleporting from place to place. They even are involved in the Easter egg, which I think is very important to use all of the map's unique features to come together and use them in some way to complete the Easter egg. And while I dislike the monkeys, I have to say the orange colored sky and filter that appears when it's a monkey round is a really cool change from the fog that we've been so used to with Hellhounds. It makes you feel like you're being attacked in some way by some unknown, powerful, maybe unhuman force, and puts you in a little bit more on edge than you would be in a normal round. Well, I mean, at least for the first time. Every time after you just see it, you just despise it because you have to see those monkeys, and you know, they're literally the worst monkeys in all of Zombies. That's what I should do. I should make a monkey tier list in Call of Duty Zombies. That's a great idea. The rocket is also an important set piece to Ascension, and blowing it up when you get the ray gun is such a cool Easter egg and looks really good. I really like Ascension's atmosphere. I think it is done really well, which is crazy to think about considering this is from the Black Ops 1 campaign. And I think that actually this is why I have much more of an appreciation for it, because they took something from campaign and turned it into feeling like a real Zombies map. They didn't get to work from the ground up and build it however they wanted. They had to take something and turn it into a Zombies map. Everything from the destruction around this facility to the Lunar Landers, Gersh mowing in your ear, and the blood trails throughout the map just demonstrate exactly how a flipped campaign asset should be used for Zombies. Cold War. The Easter egg of Ascension is a pretty bare bones Easter egg and what you can expect from older map Easter eggs. Getting some weapons from the box and using them to interact in certain areas of the map with some obscure steps, and then getting a reward at the end. The Easter egg isn't really that complex and not very memorable. However, it was the first attempt that was probably worked as a side thing that Treyarch wasn't 100% sure about putting too much effort into it, since it was their first time, and after the success of Ascension, it's what caused them to continue on and make Shangri-La and Moon's Easter eggs right after. So we all have to thank Ascension for the exceptional Easter egg experiences that we got. We free Gersh at the end of the Easter egg, and we get to see him ascend. Get it, because the name of the map is Ascension, because Gersh, he ascends and a rockets ascend, and there's rockets on this map, so that's why it's called Ascension. Do you get it? It's funny because it's funny. You have to laugh now. Laugh. We helped Gersh to ascend, and he seems so happy to be free, and I really am happy for him. He sounded so scared before. You know, even if we only got a 90-second death machine, you know, at least we made Gersh happy. You know, he was probably stuck in there for a long time, and, you know, at least we got to do some good and free him. I'm sure he'll go on to live a long and happy life.
Wait, what is happening? What are you doing? You said you would help me.
Do not be concerned with the anomaly's fate. Information extraction is a mostly painless process.
I'm sure he's fine.
Well, maybe not. Okay. Last thing I do want to talk about Ascension is the Black Ops 3 Remaster and Zombie Chronicles. A lot of Chronicles maps I feel get a lot of hate, especially in recent years, but I can't see the hate towards Ascension Black Ops 3. Sure, I get it. Listen, there's no PhD, which was a big part of this map back in the day. But BO3 doesn't even have any really good explosive weapons, and it has sliding, so it wouldn't be the same as Black Ops 1 even if it was implemented. You're also given Widow's Wine, which is objectively better than PhD. It works infinitely, while realistically PhD is only going to be useful for the first 20-30 rounds. I think PhD is one of the most overrated perks ever for this reason. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a great perk, but I remember people were begging for it in Black Ops 3, and like, they could have added it, I guess. I mean, it would honestly, I would have rather them added that than add Danger Closest as a gobblegum. But like, if we're being so honest, like, what would you even use it with? Like, Death and Taxis are pretty mid. The L4 Siege, like, I mean, L4 Siege is cool, but I don't think you guys really want PhD just so you can use it on Gorod. I don't know, or Revelations, I guess. I also think the monkeys are much easier to deal with in Black Ops 3 because of Gobblegum, and because of this, they become so much less of an annoyance than they were before. However, obviously putting Ascension into Black Ops 3 and giving it Gobblegum, Wonder Fizz, Double Pap, and the Ray Gun Mark II makes it even easier than Ascension already. It does make the remaster just an easier version. I don't think it's a bad thing though, and I really do love Chronicles to this day, because the whole point of Chronicles was for those people who didn't get the chance to play these old maps back in the day, and for returning players to see their favorite maps in a new light. A lot of maps like Shang, Moon, Call of the Dead, and Origins, I never got to play back in the day because I was a kid and didn't even know what DLC was at the time. And even when I did know what DLC was, it's not like I could just buy it. What am I gonna do? Make a lemonade stand? Like, I don't know. Especially when there was like 4 DLC in each game. You know, that's a lot of DLC. It's about $50 for each game on top of the $60 game I already got from GameStop. You know, that's a lot of money, so that's just not something that you could just realistically do. And so Zombie Chronicles for me introduced a lot of new maps that I probably would have never played otherwise, at least for the time. And that's why I still love Chronicles, because it accomplished the job it was meant to. And hey, listen, even if you aren't a fan, you have to admit all the maps look 10 times better than the Black Ops 3 engine. I still don't think Black Ops 3's Ascension is better than the original in any way. However, I do think it is a less tedious map in Black Ops 3 because of the changes made. I do feel like a lot of people get stuck in the old ways of how things are and don't want change. And listen, maybe some of you high round players can tell me different, but I truly do not believe in any capacity that you guys just enjoy spamming the box on late rounds because ammo is always an issue, especially on Black Ops 1. This is just what I would call artificial difficulty, because it's just more annoying to have to deal with having no ammo all the time, instead of it actually being challenging. You rely on RNG just to fill up on ammo, which again, I don't think is a bad thing, but it's not superior to what we got in BO3, being able to spawn in max ammos. I will give you though, when I talk about this being easier in Black Ops 3, I'm mostly talking about using cashbacks, or Dead of Nuclear Winters for the monkeys. I do not like round robins and power vacuums. I think they are way too overpowered, and if I could get rid of them, I definitely would, because they make every single map a joke basically, And that's why Black Ops 3 high rounds are so easy, because people can just, you know, use Gobblegum and just get to round 100. It's something I'm not a big fan of, but I do have to say a lot of Black Ops 3's features I do think work a lot better with the map. And another thing I have to say about Chronicles before I end this section, just because a map is better in its original, for example, I think Ascension is better on Black Ops 1 than Black Ops 3. Just because it's better doesn't mean that Black Ops 3 Ascension is bad. Sure, it's not the same, and I'll give you that, it's not. But it still got me and a lot of other people who didn't get to play all those maps back in the day, get them a chance to look at the map, see what they think about it, and then if they're like, maybe I should go play this on the original. And that's why I really liked Zombie Chronicles. Overall, Black Ops 3 Ascension is good, and it's great for new players to get to high rounds, but it's just not as good as the original. I use a system called iPlacers to rank my zombies maps, and all the maps I've done up until this point. iPlacer stands for Innovation, Progression, Layout, Atmosphere, Content, Easter eggs, Replayability, and Survival. I rate all the maps 1 through 5 in each category, and then I combine all the numbers together, and I put it into my tier list. So for Innovation, I have to give Ascension a 5, because it arguably gave us more innovation than even Doris, which gave us the Pack-a-Punch machine, so I have to give it to Ascension. Sure, I understand some of the stuff isn't very innovative, like there's not even a new wonder weapon in this map. The lunar landers are just a new way of fast travel, but it was a new way of fast travel, and I really think Ascension did a great job, especially with the main Easter egg. You really just cannot compete with Ascension's innovation. For Progression, I gave it a 3. It's the most, you know, generic survival map ever, especially like most Black Ops 1 maps, but it's a 3. It's pretty average, nothing insane. The layout of Ascension, I also give it 3. I think it's decent. It's not insane or anything. It's not bad. I think it's just it's decent. It's a really big map. It's the first big map they have, and I have to give them the credit. The map layout is actually decent for a map that was their first time being this big, so props to them. The atmosphere, I give them a 4. I think the atmosphere is really good in this game, especially, again, like I said earlier, for a campaign map, which I would not expect to be this good. Content, I give a 4. Like I said, while some things like the wonder weapons, like the thunder gun and ray gun, are reused, it is still pretty good on this map. You have the Matryoshka dolls, you have the Gersh devices, you have the sickle, you have 2 new perks, opening up so many different ways to play this map, and so I think it deserves a 4. Easter eggs, I think, gets a 3. This Easter eggs portion is a little different now, because before I was just talking about side Easter eggs. Now I'm actually talking about main Easter eggs as long as the side Easter eggs. Side Easter eggs on Ascension, I don't think there's really a lot, but the regular Easter egg, I think, makes Easter eggs a 3. And I think what I'm going to be doing in my future videos is I'm going to count Easter eggs as just the main Easter egg. For this video, I'm going to just count both, but in future installments, I'm definitely only going to worry about the main Easter egg, because I think that's like the main thing I want to talk about. Like, sure, side Easter eggs are cool, but I think that fits more into content than what I want to do with this rating. But it gets a 3. It's a decent Easter egg, like I said. It's pretty short, and it's mostly just RNG based, but it's not bad, it's not good. I just think it's a decent Easter egg overall. It's definitely fun. It's a definitely fun Easter egg to do, and I don't think it's bad anyway, but I give it a 3. For replayability, I give it a 3 as well. The map is, you know, it's decently replayable. Again, it's like another Kino der Toten. It's replayable, nothing crazy, it's just an average survival map. For survival, though, I gotta give it a 5. It is like one of the survival maps. Like, if you're gonna play survival map, you're thinking Doris, Kino, Ascension. Like, that's maybe Town you could throw in there, but those are the survival maps you think of. So I think you have to give Ascension a 5 out of 5 for survival. It is a great survival map, and it's, sure, extremely easy, I'm not gonna lie. It's still a very fun survival map, because it not being difficult, I don't think really affects the survival aspect of it. It's still a really good survival map. So Ascension is an overall great map, which was extremely innovative for the time, but at the end of the day, does just feel like a big Kino der Toten, meaning it really was just a high round map and is nowhere near a complete map like we see in future installments. For its time, it was great, but I do not believe it deserves the title of one of the best. I think for a map to be one of the best, it needs to excel in all fields, and I just don't think Ascension or most Black Ops 1 maps are quite there. They are not bad maps, just not fully complete and just need a little more to reach their full potential. But without that all being said though, my final rating for Ascension, with a total score of 30 points, A tier, great. And if you guys are still here, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you guys still checking these videos out. I know it's been a long time. It's been 10 months since I did the last retro. It's just honestly because I just like stopped really caring about zombie stuff. And then like Black Ops 6 came out, and then I was playing Black Ops 6 for a while, and then again I fell off the whole zombies hype train. But now I'm back. I don't know how long I'm gonna do it for, but hopefully it's a little bit longer this time. I want to try to at least get through Black Ops 1 and maybe Black Ops 2 after that. I'm not sure, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, you know, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about my rating. Tell me what you think about this. And if you're excited, tell me what you think about Ascension as a whole. Let me know this. Did you guys know there's a green apple Gatorade? Like, no, hold on. There's a green apple flavored Gatorade. I've never heard of this in my life. I got it last week. I tried it. You're not going to believe what it tastes like. Green apple. It tastes like green apple, obviously. I mean, come on. It says it on the bottle. But I don't know. I've never heard of this. I've heard of every other Gatorade flavor. I've never heard of green apple. I mean, I'm not like a big Gatorade drinker, but like, hey, like, I don't know. I've never heard of this. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, I'll see you guys next one.